6 years ago, Natasha Ednan-Laperouse died from a severe allergic reaction after eating a baguette which, unbeknown to her, contained sesame seeds.
You probably remember this story. It's something that lots of parents have thought about if their own children have got allergies. And Natasha's parents have now set up a clinical trial to investigate whether commonly available things like peanuts and milk products taken under medical supervision can be used as a treatment for people who have food allergies. Celestina Olulode reports.
Natasha was funny, very loving, and she was very brave.
She gave me the most loving hugs that really sunk into my soul, basically, and I miss those very much today.
Yeah.
The memories of two parents determined their daughter's death won't be in vain. In 2016, Natasha Ednan-Laperouse went into cardiac arrest on a flight after buying a baguette. The 15-year-old knew she had a food allergy and always checked labels, but the bread she ate contained sesame seeds that were not included in the list of ingredients. She died in a French hospital later that day. Since then, her parents have fought successfully to introduce new food labelling rules. And this is the next stage of her parents' tireless campaign. A 3-year clinical trial exposing young people to the foods they're allergic to, in the hope they develop greater tolerance.
We have also been introduced a very novel aspect, which is to use ordinary available food as opposed to using a capsule with a peanut powder in, which is obviously more expensive. Hopefully, the NHS could implement this treatment for the thousands of people who suffer from allergy without incurring a huge cost.
Right, Jamie, should we do your milk now?
11-year-old Jamie took part in an earlier trial to help improve his tolerance to milk.
So the variety of foods that Jamie can eat has really increased.
It's been so exciting and all worth it. And the foods I can eat now was pizza, chocolate donuts, jacket potato and cheese, pasta and cheese.
Although trials like this aren't a cure, Natasha's parents say they offer an opportunity their daughter didn't have. Celestina Olulode, BBC News.
Well, Natasha's parents, Nadim and Tanya, join us now live from their home. Thanks so much for joining us. It sounds like, this has changed everything for you. Obviously, losing your daughter, but then beginning this campaign, this way of educating all of us. How much of your lives does this take up right now, organising the study, making people aware?
Well, we're really fortunate, actually, to have some amazing people around us and an amazing team. While myself and Tanya, we are heavily invested in this, the majority of our time, 6 days a week, we have a great group of people around us that help us essentially achieve the real big aims here, which is to save people's lives and stop serious hospitalizations due to common foods and allergies.
And when we hear a little bit more about this, it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? But tell us about the study, how it works, why it's so important.
Well, this is amazing. It's utterly groundbreaking, actually. We're going to show, it's a 100-year-old science that was first reported in the Lancet journal in 1908, that oral immunotherapy, in other words, retraining the body's immune system using the very food that you're actually allergic to by using a microdosing methodology, if you like, well-versed microdosing under clinical supervision, actually works for around 80% of allergic people, and actually build up their tolerance bit by bit over a period of a year to the point where they can eat a significant amount of the very food that they were originally allergic to, and that threatened their very life. So it's really groundbreaking because it's bringing food, normal foods, shop-bought foods, back into the home and back into the everyday experience of people who have had to avoid those foods for years, or indeed perhaps their entire lives. So emotionally and mentally, it's a big thing as much as it is physical.
And Tanya, for you emotionally, knowing that this potentially could make a difference to other families, to other kids, what does that mean?
Well, that's why we do it. When Natasha was little, there was nothing like this available. And for us, it always kind of felt quite hopeless that we really didn't have hope that she could ever get to a point where she could actually be safe from those foods. And so to be able to do something that can actually bring people back in, and this isn't just about being able to eat foods and enjoy them, it's actually it changes people's lives, that they don't have to worry about things like may contain labels, about cross-contact, cross-contamination, and it just the mental stress of people having to stay safe when they have food allergies is huge. And this, we really hope, will just give them a chance of leading just much more relaxed lives around their allergies.
You make a really important point there, don't you? Because the stress of managing a food allergy, it's not only bad for the person who has the allergy, but for everybody around them. It's so tough, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. One person in a family can have a food allergy that affects the whole family. It's huge, because if we're talking about a child, for instance, the parents have to give that child over to nursery, to school. They have to go to birthday parties, or they miss them. Food is everywhere. Food is part of our culture, part of society. And we do know that many children miss out an awful lot. Young people with allergies say that they will often turn invitations down to do things around food. And so it's actually a lot tougher than I think people without allergies may actually realise.
And I think it's really important to say that what we have, along with our team, really, is we've engaged the big food industry in the UK, the really big companies, the famous names that we all know and buy food from, and said, look, this is food allergy is a food industry problem. So we've sort of made a case to them and met many of them to say, come and join us, as donors to Natasha's foundation, and help us fund this really important scientific research. So it's important to say that without the goodwill of good food companies, and many have come forward, and there are a number that have yet to come forward, and we wait to hear from them. But it's important to say that without their help, this wouldn't be possible. So we really give a big thumbs up to the great and the good that we've spoken to and met with in the food industry. It's really important that the public know that the food industry is starting to take this seriously.
That's good to hear. What you're doing at the moment is focusing here in the UK at home. I suppose, Tanya, part of the issue, the world is quite small again now, isn't it? People are travelling abroad, and that's a consideration as well. Different countries, different labelling systems. How international do you think this needs to get so that parents are confident if their kids go abroad, or anybody is?
Well, at the moment, they're not very confident. So Natasha's inquest was televised across the world. There's been a lot of interest. We do hear from people from countries in America, Australia, and every continent, actually. And they're watching. They do watch what the UK is doing. So Natasha's law, when it came out, it generated a lot of interest. I think that the UK is leading the way still. Allergy is relatively a misunderstood disease of the immune system, which is beginning to be taken seriously. And the UK is leading the way here, but other countries are watching closely.
Okay.
And they do need to, because numbers of allergic people are rising all over the world.
Okay. We thank you very much indeed for your time and wish you well with it. And it would be really interesting to catch up with you again when you've got that research back and got the results of the study. Thank you. Thanks for your time.